Paid for them. I got the digital. Don't mess up my presidential campaign before it starts. Got my whole future in front of me, Dennis. Sandy, you ready to rock and roll?
I think we're rocking.
Awesome. I want you to take a look at what I looked like when I first started at Country Financial in 2005. That's right, 7 years ago. Take a long, hard look. Because I know I did. I want you to imagine a time when someone close to you called you out on something that you didn't follow through on. You could come up with 1,000,001 excuses, but not a legit reason. I had a situation like that when I visited my mom and sister. My sister comes up to me. She catches me reading one of the many weight loss books that I've purchased over the years, and she inquires, "So, this is pretty good material, right?" I say, "Yeah." And then she hits me with another question. "Well, if it's such good material, Terrence, how come you actually don't use it?" It's a good question. Maybe slightly uncomfortable, but my kid sister was hitting me with tough love. She was holding me accountable. She knew that I was a passive observer when it came to material in these weight loss and fitness books. You know, probably bought 100 of them in the last 10 years. But when it came to actually living that life, I wasn't able to fulfill my part of that bargain. The road to personal fitness for me was not always an easy one. There were many false starts along the way. I am well known, or at least I was, for signing up for a gym membership, going crazy hard in the gym that first week, wearing myself out to the point that I couldn't lift my arms over my head, and then I would disappear. I would fall into old bad habits again. I, Terrence Brown, am the poster child for emotional eating. When I'm going through a tough time personally, or I'm going through a tough time professionally, I would look for comfort food. Think about your own lives. I think we as a society use emotional eating as a coping mechanism. When I was going through a stressful time at work or a stressful time at home, I would overeat. It became a vicious cycle. But alas, there was a breakthrough. It said, you know what? I'm going to prove my little sister wrong, that I can do this. I'm going to prove to myself that I can do this. But there's one problem. I've always hated cardio. I always loved lifting weights, but I hate doing cardio. So I came to the decision that I would start off every workday with what I hate, and I would get it out of the way. So I would get up every morning at the crack of dawn, because keep in mind, I was very, very self-conscious about the way that I looked. So I was going to get up at the crack of dawn when 99% of Bloomington Normal wasn't even awake yet. And I would hit up the local trail. And I'd go walk. I'd go walk, and I'd just keep walking for like 2 or 3 hours at a time. And I would just clear my mind. Whatever was stressing me out, I would just use that time to reflect. I also found religion on nutrition. Every cereal I've ever loved was horrible for me, and you too, for that matter. So every cereal that I loved as a child, and to a lesser extent as an adult, I had to part ways with. I started eating whole wheat pancakes. I started drinking massive amounts of water on a daily basis. If I got tired of that, I switched it up to Propel. I had to say goodbye to processed meats. I had to switch it up to chicken and turkey. I had to say goodbye to a lot of my favorite starchy foods and pastas and get acclimated to more healthier fare like sweet potatoes, onions, green peppers, green beans, broccoli, you name it. Over time, I learned to appreciate the milestones along the way. I learned to appreciate the small victories along the way. Moments when I thought, wow, this is actually happening to me. I knew we were really on to something. I knew I was really on to something. The first time I could look down at the scale, I was like, that's 5 pounds. I knew we were really on to something when I had to go in for the first time and actually had to get my pants taken in by a tailor. I knew we were really on to something when I actually had to have the links taken off my watch just so we could fit properly. I knew we were really, really on to something when I could wear my high school class ring for the first time in years, okay? Working out has not only become something that is a personal health necessity for Terrence Brown, it has also become a place that I need to be spiritually. It's become a place of sanctuary. Personally, I can be slighted. I can be ignored. I can be rejected. Professionally, I can be slighted. I can be ignored. I can be rejected. I don't like it, but some days, that's just the way it is. But when I'm working out, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you with absolute certainty, I feel invincible. Practically bulletproof. Almost untouchable. Working out. Working out is therapy for me. Fellow Toastmasters, I sit before you here today, I show you that picture. I was 322 pounds. I was able to whittle that down in probably about a year and a half to 261 pounds. And it wasn't easy. Now I can tell you, I've been 260 before, but that 260 is not the same 260 today. We're talking real life body transformation. Fellow Toastmasters, I show you that picture, and I see that picture every day. And I use it as a reminder, not only of where I've been, but also where I hope to go. I am living in the flesh proof that you can find religion on fitness, that you can find religion on nutrition, and that you can change your life. And I'm a firm believer that if I can do this, that anyone can. Thank you.